If you're a newer Amazon seller, then you're in the perfect place. This is the exact channel that you want to be on because we teach all things Amazon FBA related. And in this video in particular, I'm going to be answering the most common Amazon questions that I see from new sellers. This is actually the second video in this series of answering questions. So if you missed the first one, I'll make sure to link it right above for you. And make sure to watch this in its entirety because I carefully chose these questions because they're the ones that I see over and over again. So if you are a newer Amazon seller, stick with me until the end because I am about to answer a ton of questions that are really going to save you time. And then when you're done with this video, be sure to check out the first one in the series to have even more questions answered. These are questions that took me myself months to figure out. So by watching these two videos alone, you are going to save yourself so much time. And these are questions that every single beginning Amazon seller most definitely has. Now we make videos right here on this channel because we simply love to teach others how to sell on Amazon. It's not something that you can just enroll in school and figure out how. So this is a way that you can figure out for completely free. So if you could do us a favor, a small thing that you can do to show your appreciation is subscribe to this channel and like this video. Only about 20% of the viewers who actually watch the Profit Guru videos subscribe to the channel. So if you could do that for me really quick, we would really appreciate it. Here we go. Let's jump right into question number one. For those who want to start slow, what products would you recommend to consider selling first? I heard that books are a good choice. Now, books can be a good choice to get going with, but you're not going to get rich off of them. And there's a few reasons why books are a good choice. Number one, it's going to get your feet wet with learning how to scan products and then input what the sale price is versus the listing price on Amazon to see if there's actual profit to be made. Then it's super easy to prep books and send them to the warehouse. So for that reason, it is easy to get started with books, and a lot of new sellers are eligible to sell books. So it is a good starting place. But I will tell you that I never did that, and I don't think that you have to do that if scanning through books for hours isn't your passion. Here's what you can do instead. Sign up for your Amazon seller account right now. You probably don't feel comfortable enough with actually selling right now, but that's okay. The first thing that you need is the actual selling account, because next you're going to download the Amazon seller app. And you need this to get going. Make sure you have a smartphone with data, make sure you have that Amazon seller app, and you are going to go to stores and start scanning everything across a wide variety of brands and a wide variety of categories. This is going to tell you what you're eligible to sell. With each item that you scan the barcode on, it's going to pop up. Then you're going to request approval to sell. If you can sell it, it's going to say approved, congratulations. If you can't, a selling application will pop up. Now this is the very first thing you have to do as a new seller because not all things are sellable on Amazon. And even each new seller's account has different restrictions. So if I'm a new seller, I might be able to sell in this category, but this other new seller might not be able to sell in that said category. So first things first, take that app, go to the stores and start scanning. Figure out which categories and which brands you are able to sell, and that's where you start. Some common areas where new sellers are typically ungated are pets, office, crafts. So start scanning those products, and as soon as you find where you're ungated, start selling them. As you sell more and prove to Amazon that you are a good seller, that's when more categories and brands start becoming available. Question number two. Hope you can make a video on how to use coupons and a list of sites for OA. Now, OA stands for online arbitrage. In that last question, when I was talking about physically going into the stores to scan products, that's called RA, retail arbitrage. So this question is, what type of sites can I source from online to find products to buy and resell on Amazon? So let me show you some really good extensions for coupons and then where I'm able to find a huge list of stores for OA. There are a ton of different extensions that you can download for coupons. We have Rakuten, Coupon Birds, Top Cashback, and there's also Honey. Once you get these extensions downloaded to your Chrome, whenever you go to a cart to check out, they're automatically going to start popping up and telling you that there's codes they can input for you to see if there's any discounts. Now, personally, I find the best ones on Rakuten. And again, you don't have to go searching first. Whatever you're using for online arbitrage to get your supplies from, as soon as you go to the checkout, it's automatically going to pop up to remind you to use it. and then it will automatically start applying codes to see which one gives you the biggest discount. And Rakuten is also a place that you can come for some ideas of online arbitrage places to source. If we scroll down, we can see a ton of stores where the most cash back is at this moment. It changes on a regular basis. And this is also going to give you ideas of stores you can start searching for to find products to sell. But my very favorite place to come to find some stores to source from is Tactical Arbitrage. If we come right over here to product search, and then flip this over to basic, we are going to have a huge list of stores. So whenever I'm feeling kind of blank and I don't really know where to go that day to get started to look for products, I come here and start looking through all the different retailers. All of these are really great spots to find some products that are selling for higher on Amazon. And then with Tactical Arbitrage, what you can do is scan the stores. So when you input a store, it tries to scan it to find matches on Amazon where there's profit to be made. Then you scroll through like this to view the data. For example, I ran a search at Target. It found this Axe body spray, and then it found the listing on Amazon. The body spray we can get for $6.99, and it's selling for Amazon for $16.23. So I do like to use Tactical Arbitrage to help me with my sourcing and to scan websites for me, especially when there's a really good deal going on. I can input whatever the deal is or the store discount, and then it can apply that to the scan and find products for me. If Tactical Arbitrage is something that you want to try out, I do have a link down below that gives you an extended free trial. On to the third question. I found out today that my account health is at risk for deactivation because of a listing I did. In this situation, how will one avoid this kind of issue? And what do I do now? Well, let me start with the what do I do now portion. If you do something wrong, if you get a violation, as soon as you log into your Amazon seller account, right there in that homepage dashboard, you are going to see right at the top in yellow what's wrong. So literally all you have to do is click that. Next, it's going to walk you through exactly what to do. It'll tell you why you got in trouble and exactly how to address it. But that's the important part. You can't just let violations sit there in your account. You have to take that next step to address it. You might have to alter the listing a little bit. Maybe you put the brand name in there and that's trademarked and you can't do that. Or maybe you just got an IP violation, so now you have to delete the listing and close it. But whatever it is, you don't have to guess what to do next. It's going to physically tell you what the next steps are, and then you click and do those steps. Now, how you can avoid this is number one, knowing how to check historical data before you jump on to products. Not all brands want sellers to sell their products. And just because you scanned that brand and Amazon said that your application was approved, that doesn't mean that the brand says it's okay. And that's where a lot of new sellers typically get their first violations. I know I did. I scanned a vitamin, applied to sell, Amazon said, congratulations, you're approved. So I bought those vitamins, sent them to the warehouse, and I was hit with an IP violation from the brand coming at me telling me, you're not permitted to sell our products. So then I had to remove all those products from the warehouse, which cost money, and take down that listing. So what you can do to avoid this is understand the importance of looking at the historical data. Let me show you what I mean by that. What I like to do to check a product's historical data to make sure I'm not going to get hit with an IP violation is grab the ASIN from the listing and then bring it into ProfitGuru. And I come right here to the sales estimator and paste the ASIN. Now I can see all of the data surrounding this product. And right here, I can see the averages of how many sellers are on it. That's really key to what you're looking for with historical data to make sure you're not going to get hit with a violation. Now, right down here is where you really want to look good. This is telling us historically over time how many sellers have been on that listing. And if you're only seeing that there's 1 or 2 or 3 sellers on it across a wide range of time, that right there is a really good indicator that that's not a safe product or brand to be reselling. So right here I can see there's 1 seller, 1 seller, no sellers, 2 sellers, 1 seller, 2 sellers. So because the historical data is showing me that there's not ever very many sellers on this listing, that's a good indicator that you're going to get hit with a violation and just stay off of it. Question number 4, how can I know if a distributor is trusted by Amazon? Now, what I think this question means is, how do we know if we ourselves, as the purchaser of these products, can trust the distributor that's giving them to us? I found brands that look really good on Amazon, and then when I searched them into Google, I found sites to get those branded products really, really cheap. But the problem is, you can't trust every online website that you go to. They might take your order and just take your money and never send it. Or they might send your products and they might not be authentic. So how I deal with this and knowing that I can trust the supplier or the distributor that I'm working with is, before I purchase from any distributor or supplier, I always go to Google and I search their name into Google with the address. This is going to show us on Google Maps if it actually exists. It will bring the building right up into Google Maps. So if you put the address in and it looks kind of fishy and it doesn't look like that building exists, there's a red flag. Don't trust them. I also take that business name and put it into the Better Business Bureau website. If you're not doing that, you definitely need to be doing that, because it's going to come back and tell you how trusted that supplier is. It will give it a rating, A, B, F, and any complaints that customers have made, you're going to be able to see it. So if the shipping is super slow, or if they never shipped to begin with, definitely check the Better Business Bureau and investigate suppliers before you purchase from them. Question number 5, do you think FBM is more expensive? I find lately I'd rather sell myself since I hate to wait for it to get to the warehouse. What are your thoughts? Well, generally speaking, in terms of fees, FBM, which is merchant fulfilling, you are shipping the items out yourself, there are less fees. So in that sense, it is less expensive because you're not paying for those Amazon fulfillment fees. However, a lot of listings are favored by the FBA sellers, and you can check it by going to any listing. And if you have Keepa, you can go to the data tab and then the buy box statistics. This is going to show you all the sellers that are getting the buy box and what percentage of time they're winning it. So if those top sellers who are getting the most sales are all FBA sellers, then you know that buy box is not favoring the FBM sellers. And that's generally how a lot of listings go. They favor those sellers that are actually sending their products to Amazon. So if you're doing FBM and selling them out yourself, bringing them to the post office as they're ordered, yes, you're paying less fees, but now you're in charge of the shipping fee. So either number 1, that's coming out of your pocket, or number 2, you have to charge the customer to pay the shipping. And customers who have a Prime account, they don't typically like to pay for shipping. Now, you could just pay for the shipping yourself out of your own pocket, but the thing is, as these items get heavier and travel further from you, they get much more expensive. So my rule of thumb is, if I'm going to FBM a product, it has to be under 1 pound. If it's under a pound, I know the shipping is generally going to be maybe $3 to $6. As soon as the items start getting heavier than a pound, the shipping price goes up significantly. And it can be tricky to calculate exactly how much the shipping is going to be to travel to each different region that a buyer might be buying from. So my suggestion is to do FBA and send to the warehouse. Yes, you're paying more fees to them to fulfill it, but you don't have to worry about shipping and you don't have to worry about any customer service on your end. So it is worth it. Now, where FBM does come in handy is during holiday seasons. I know some warehouses, depending on which Amazon warehouse your products are sent to, can take a long time to count in that inventory. When I was prepping my products myself, the warehouse that was closest to me, they would receive that inventory and get it into my inventory list fast. Now that I use a prep center, the prep center is phenomenal. It saves me a ton of time, but the warehouse that gets my products are significantly slower than the one I'm used to. So for those reasons, during the holiday seasons like Christmas, when things are flying off the shelves, it might be more beneficial to do FBM, especially because you can also raise prices then, because people want things, they're gonna pay that inflated price to get it. But all in all, overall, I would definitely suggest FBA. Question number 6, can you enroll an existing FBA inventory item into the Small and Light program? Now, those of you that are not familiar with the Small and Light program, that program allowed sellers to enroll their products into it if it was priced less than $10 and if it was under 3 pounds. What this program does is decrease the fees that Amazon wants from you. So typically, yes, if you already had a product enrolled in your inventory, you could easily take that SKU and put it into the Small and Light program. But not anymore. The Small and Light program no longer exists. Starting on August 29th of 2023, Amazon is going to automatically enroll all of your products that qualify, that are less than 3 pounds and under $10, with these lower fees. So you don't have to do anything. Put them into your inventory as normal, and those decreased fees will apply to it. So that's kind of good. For newer sellers that didn't know about the Small and Light program, now you'll have less fees on those products. But it's not good for seasoned sellers who have been utilizing the Small and Light. Now, what the Small and Light will do is it'll make it about 70 cents cheaper in fees versus your other products. But for those of us who have been using Small and Light, now that it's gone, what it's being replaced with is actually about 30 cents more expensive per unit than what we're used to who've been using the Small and Light. So this is a good thing for newer sellers, but for those of us who have been relying on it, pretty much a bad thing, because now the fees are going to be more than what we're used to with the Small and Light program. Question number 7, can I change the bank information? I get asked questions about this a lot. Once you make your Amazon seller account, nothing is permanent. So even if you first sign up for an individual plan and then decide that you want to go to the professional plan, you can do that. If you enter in a bank card and then you get a business account and you want to put in that information instead, you can do that. Everything can be changed, but what I'm suggesting is edit in moderation. When I first established my LLC and got all of my documents and my banking account, I wanted to change all of the information at once in my account. And what happened is they locked me out. So Amazon is very safe, and if they see something going on that kind of looks a little suspicious, they can just shut you out, and it's going to take a long time to get in contact with someone to open it back up. So I would suggest reaching right out to Amazon to change that information over the phone, or to do it slowly so you don't get locked out of your own account. Question number 8, will I still need SellerAmp? Those of you familiar with the ProfitGuru channel, you know that I use a lot of different softwares. And one of the biggest softwares that I was using to help me to find products was SellerAmp. And because we used it so much, we made our own Chrome extension with ProfitGuru. So if that's something that you want to have and purchase our software, then you get the ProfitGuru extension with it. Since I now have that extension, I canceled my SellerAmp account. The ProfitGuru one is cheaper and it can do all of the same things. So if you don't have ProfitGuru, then yes, you would need SellerAmp. If you are using ProfitGuru, then no, cancel your SellerAmp. There's no reason to be paying for both. And if you're not familiar with the ProfitGuru extension or the SellerAmp extension, then you definitely need to go back through my videos and watch them, because these are two really big ones. You're going to need one when you're doing your research on Amazon. Question number 9, what do you do when a seller puts a random object in their picture in order to block other sellers from piggybacking? She put her box in many images. Now this is a common tactic for people who are building bundles. One of the first bundles that I made was a Dunkaroos cookie mix, and I put it with the Dunkaroos frosting. Now I thought if I put my branded bag in there right on that listing cover, that people would be afraid to jump onto the listing. If it's just the packaging, people don't care. A customer is not going to want to return their item just because the bag is different. So putting something in with your bundle that other sellers can't easily get their hands on or reproduce is a great way from keeping other sellers from jumping on and selling those products. However, just the packaging alone, that's not enough, especially if you're only doing brand approval and you don't have brand registry. When you have a trademark and you've registered your brand, you can protect your property and kick people off and give them violations. But if you don't have that, you don't have the right to just kick people off of the listing simply because their packaging looks different on the outside. As long as it functions the same and all of the pieces are the same, a customer's not going to care. So what I would do in that instance is I would look at the number of sellers. If it is just that one lady and there's no one else on it, then I'm not going to jump on it. But if I see that there's other sellers on it, then clearly it's okay to do. What's really important is that the products that are inside of that bag or inside of that box are exactly the same as the listing. And finally, question number 10 is one that I'm throwing in there because I hear it all the time. Basically, there are 3 overall steps to being on Amazon. find products, list and send them to the warehouse, and then manage your inventory in your account. The question that I hear a lot is with listing the products and sending them off to Amazon. Now, what you can do is get a subscription to a software like Inventory Lab that's going to help you to list your products more efficiently and more easier than just doing it through your Amazon Seller Central account. But what I recommend doing if the profits are there and you have enough products is get yourself a prep center that is going to do it for you. Prepping takes so much time. The time that you are wasting prepping your items and listing them into your inventory and sending it to the warehouse, you can be using those hours to find more products to sell and make more money. For the first year of my business, I prepped everything myself and it became so tedious and boring. So finally, I invested into a prep center. I don't have to touch any of my products anymore. I send them right to the prep center, they receive them, prep them, put them into my account, and send it to Amazon. So if you're interested in getting a prep center, you definitely want to make sure that the numbers work and that you're still making a profit after utilizing their service. But the best prep center and the one that I personally use, I will link right down below in the description for you guys. So if you as well are looking for a prep center, I highly recommend them. Plus, they're in a sales tax-free state. So if you're in a state that you have to pay sales tax, you don't have to if you send it to them. This alone is saving me quite a bit of money because in the state that I'm in, I have to pay 8% sales tax. But because I'm not receiving my products and they're going to Oregon instead, I don't have to pay any sales tax. So that's pretty handy. They're saving me time and they're saving me money in that aspect. That concludes this episode of answering questions that common new Amazon sellers have. I really hope that this has been valuable for you. And again, check out my first video in this series if you want even more questions answered. It's going to save you so much time rather than running into these questions along the road, which you're going to, and then having to search for the info on your own. If you've been with me this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.